Boom, camera's on. We're live. Just got everything all set up. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the master class here with the Build Association. Appreciate each and every one of you jumping in tonight. What's exciting about this week's master class is that we're going to be breaking down exactly what you need to do so you can get your wife out of her job so that you guys can start building that empire that you guys know that you can make. A lot of us, when it comes to contracting, we all take the jump in, we all get to work. But what do we start to see? We see a lot of the times we either fall into two camps. The first one is, babe, stay at work so we have enough payroll to keep us going just in case there's an emergency. And two, to keep the insurance going. True or not, we've all been there. We've all had that conversation. Now you may be the few who just say, hey, me and my wife are going to quit all in and just jump right into the business. You guys got more, you know what, than many of us. But for the most part, you either fall into that camp or you fall into the camp where eventually you have enough work, you need help because you're recognizing everything's starting to get sloppy. Your wife quits her job, she comes to the business, but then you guys are working together, but you don't have the relaxation, you don't see all the benefits of working together. The complete opposite actually starts to happen. You guys start fighting more. And what do you see? You guys get irritated with each other. So now working together is actually clashing. You guys are actually not melding together. And it feels like the business is actually becoming more stuck than it was with you just working by yourself. A lot of people fall into this scenario. I did myself. But how do we get out of it? How do we overcome it? What did we notice with patterns, with tendencies that just contractors in and itself have to deal with, where when that two worlds collided, it didn't really mesh well. And that actually held our business from growing. So what about you guys? Which camp are you guys in? Are you right now working on your own and then having wifey still work? And if that's a choice, more power to you guys. Remember, there's no wrong answer here. We're specifically going to be talking about the ones who have that admin staff or who's doing all the work by themselves, or the ones who want their wife to quit their job and work in the business, but they just don't know how about going after it. Or there's so much ups and downs, you can't take time off work because you need to make the money, so you put that investment time somewhere else. What are we going to do? We're going to break it down. And if you guys are part of the Build membership, you guys understand when it came to our Builder's Business Blueprint, when we broke down contracting into three parts. One, you as the owner, you as the CEO, you as the founder have to take a role of leadership. You have to be constantly self-developing because you understand you're only as strong as your weakest link. And in contracting, many times the weakest link is us. Many times it's us because we don't want to look for help, because the way we were raised, the way we were taught how to work in construction, remember, it's just rough and tough, get dirty, figure it out on your own. Guess what? That can actually hold you back if you don't want to look for others for help, if you don't want to scale, if you don't want to self-develop. All these things can now go against you. And then we break it down to the other pillars, the hard skills and the soft skills. And what did we see? 90% of us are hard skill dominated. We want to do the work. We want to swing the hammer. We want to get our hands dirty. We want to be in the field. It's the badge of honor almost, right? And then what happens? I'll send the invoice later. I'll call that customer another time. I'll do that job walk another day. And what do we see? We actually fail in business because of that one portion that we decide to neglect. So today we're going to be talking about those two worlds. When those two worlds collide, the hard skill versus soft skill, what you guys can do about it, how you guys can overcome it. And if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to jump in. As always, feel free to comment down below. But once again, if you're part of the Build membership, you already have this diagram in your workbook. Where's my workbook? But if you guys have your Builder's Business Blueprint, it's our 50-page workbook. Basically, it breaks down what is contracting. And I'm going to go grab that for you right now. So give me a second. Apologize for that. Right here. Once again, if you're part of the Build Association, you have your own workbook. This is going to basically tell you everything what you need to know, everything that you need to do as a contractor. Plumbing, HVAC, electrician, you name it. This book has everything you need tailored for everybody. And once again, we jump right into it where we start talking about the 3 pillars of contracting. And it's right over here in the beginning of our book. We actually talk about in part 2 the 3 pillars: hard skills, soft skills, self-development. And we're going to see why that's so important when it comes to contracting and when it comes to running your own business and having either your spouse jump in with you, a business partner jump in with you, or your own office manager. And today we're going to be talking about this chart. The balance act, the balancing of when the 2 worlds collide. And that's what we're going to jump in. Once again, if you're part of the Build Association, you get this whole workbook for you, easily downloadable. You get to fill it out, has some planning for not only this year, but for years to come. What does your business look like? What's your goal? And it breaks it down very simple for you guys to follow. But all in all, tonight, we're going to be talking about when 2 worlds collide, the hard skills and the soft skills. A lot of us want to just stay in the van, drive around, tackle our work. The other half, right? We try to avoid as much as we can. Or guess what? We're back in the office at 6 o'clock. We're working till 10 o'clock at night. We might have dinner with our kids. We might come home and they're already put to bed. Who knows? That's the cards that were dealt. So how are we going to get it better? How are we going to pivot? How are we going to adjust? How are we going to make the best of the circumstance? The number one way is to understand where we're currently at and then do everything we can. We can't miss and make up for lost time, but what can we do moving forward? And that's why right here, we talk about hard skills versus soft skills. Just as a quick recap, just so a lot of us can understand, hard skill is the technical side of things. Soft skill is the communication, the problem solving. I like to call it all the admin type of stuff when it comes to contracting, because we have to recognize, we as electricians, we as contractors, you guys as plumbers, you guys as HVAC technicians, have to provide a service to take care of someone else, right? We all have to. We have to change the light bulb. We have to fix the leaky sink. We have to change out the air filters. We have to connect the solar panel or replace a panel or replace an inverter. All of us have to physically do some work. That's what's known as our hard skills right here. Yet, a lot of us have to call, schedule the work, communicate with the customer, problem solve for the customer. What if there's a conflict in our schedule? How do we move things around, right? All that stuff, the communication afterwards, sending the invoice on time, making sure everything's updated, recaps are sent. All that stuff over here on the soft skill is typically what we have to do when we come back from work after a long full day, because guess what? We don't have time during the day because we're doing the work. But for you to be successful, right here, a successful contractor understands that he has to balance both of them. What happens when we're super, super, super busy and all we want to do is work, 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 work? The hard skills come down, soft skills go up. And what happens? We don't send our invoices on time. We don't communicate with the customer on time or the right way. We have discrepancy in the invoices, so they challenge us back. And guess what? During the day, we're working on another job site, so we don't write back that email till 6, 7 o'clock at night when he's already off. So now for you to fix an invoice where it typically should get paid in one day, now you have to do 2, 3, 4 different emails because you're catching each other in off-peak hours. And now you have to deal with the fact that you're not getting paid enough. And then you want to say, oh, that's a bad GC. Not once have you looked at your current circumstance and said, maybe I'm the problem. Remember, self-development is that third piece of the puzzle. Where can I get better? And if you ignore that, now you're balancing these two things. And if you ignore the self-development side, I guarantee you have a flaw somewhere here. With that in mind, if we focus too much on the soft skills, what happens? What happens? You ever heard of the expression, too many chiefs, not enough Indians? Everyone wants an admin. Everyone wants an office manager. Everyone now starts micromanaging. And what happens? Everyone, instead of doing a task, they're passing it on to another admin. They're doing a phone call and they actually throw the buck on somebody else because you have too many chiefs and not enough Indians to actually do the work. So the office staff then tries to make up, acting like they're busy when they're really not. Trust me, everybody goes through this stuff. So understanding that you are in charge of your company, you understand that you're the contractor, you are the visionary, you are the founder, you have to balance the two. And when it comes to balancing the two, you have to make the ultimate decision. What's my main focus? What's the problem I'm solving for right now? And a lot of the times it's understanding where are we in the scheme of things. So just like what we mentioned, we have to understand the skills that you need to develop in and is key to building your foundation. Once again, you as the contractor, it's your responsibility, because once you decide this is what we have to do, this is how my industry is operating, that is a nice solid foundation for you to build your business on. And what do we do typically? Like hard skills, we just jump into contracting, we work. When it comes to the soft skills, if we hire our wives, or if our wives come on board, she quits her job, we just think, hey, work. And they don't understand the scope of work. They say, hey, babe, bill this customer for this much. Well, how much? She's constantly calling you. How much is this? How much is that? How long is it going to take? Then you get upset when she messes up the schedule. She puts 2 jobs back to back and you're like, yo, babe, that one job is going to take me 4 hours. Why'd you schedule another job? And then she's like, I just scheduled it because I thought you needed it. No, this takes 3 hours, not 2 hours. Now I'm going to be late for the second job. Now she's scrambling, trying to organize. Now the customer's mad that you're showing up late. Now they think you're scamming them because you didn't show up on the time you were supposed to. Then you see it's constant bickering. This happens all the time. Everybody goes through it. What happens, or how do you handle that now? You got to stop. Remember, what do we need to develop? Right here. Stop. Pause for a second. Figure out, this is not how I want my business to run. I don't want to scream at my babe. I don't want to scream at my girl. Guess what happens? We're not perfect. We understand. We're all going to get blooded. Bro, I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. All right? But what I'm trying to say is this happens. Stop, position yourself, say this is not going to work long term. We got to figure something else out. And then talk about it, handle the business. Then when it comes to, okay, maybe I'm blaming her for the scheduling conflict, but is it really a soft skill problem? Or maybe it's because I didn't train her in the hard skills, the technical skills, where she needs to now communicate that with the homeowner. You see? So we go straight to reactive mode. Oh, that GC's screwed up on his systems. You're blaming someone else for his systems when you don't have systems yourself. That don't make sense. You're blaming your office manager for not communicating when you didn't give them the communication or the information they need to communicate. Stop where you're at, figure this out. Remember, hard skills, she needs you, your office manager needs you, your partner needs you, because he, or your office manager teams don't understand the technical skills. They don't know how long a job should take. They don't have project management skills. They're just trying to help you out so you're not overloaded, so you can have dinner at 6 o'clock. They don't have the certifications, licenses, and they don't know sales. All these things you went through the apprenticeship for. You worked 7 years to get your 8,000 hours. You built up everything you know, your experience. That's why you're charging so much, because you have the experience, you have the backing. She's trusting you to do this in the field. If she had this mind to do this, she would know how to explain to the customer. She would know how to price the job. She would know how to schedule the job without any issues. So we see that there's a break. There's a disconnect between hard skills and soft skills. Some way, shape, or form, there's a break. We got to figure out what's the solution to fixing that. Well, we all know the easiest way, the longest way, the most painful way is training. But we go back to the understanding of us as contractors. Are we really the type to sit down and train somebody, we already talked about the construction culture. We already talked about, I've been doing this for 30 years. You ain't got nothing to tell me. Or, hey, I'm the inspector. Fix this. But sir, that's not a code violation. Do it because I said so. Your boss tells you to do it this way, and you're over here thinking, I would have done it the other way. We're always told to do something, not taught. And remember, now that you're in a business, now that you're an entrepreneur, now that you're in that leadership role, are you going to just be like, hey, let me teach everybody? Now, you can come into it thinking that, awesome, but what's the culture? The last 10 years, you've been taught one way to do something. 90% of us is going to fall back to those routines. We're not going to know how to teach. We're not going to know how to communicate. We're just going to yell. We're going to bark just like someone else on the job site. And guess what? Those are growing pains. You're not wrong for that. You have to just remember, go back to self-development and recognize, maybe this isn't what I want to do for the rest of my life. I need to get better. And that's how you improve. Remember, I'm not knocking anybody. No one's perfect. We all been there. That's why I built that book out, is because I got burned so many times to the point where we built a business. I built a proud business where I'm competing with dudes who've been in business 20 or 30 years, and I'm now able to speak on that because I've been burned that bad. And guess what? There's a way out of everything. There's hope at the end, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You don't have to go through this. Your office team doesn't have to go through this. So when I started thinking about how can I bridge that gap from hard skills to soft skills, how can we, well, let's go over here. How do we balance this? How do we balance this? Instead of one going up, one going down, one going up, one going down. How do we make sure that there's harmony between these two? I recognize you're going to need training, but training can take time. It can take a lot of funds. There's many of us who are contractors who take courses like with individuals like Patrick Bet-David. There's other programs out there that you can actually take coaching courses from. You understand? And guess what? A lot of them do good. A lot of them do good. I'm not knocking the program. If something helped you, awesome. Teach it. I'm not knocking it. But what do we see? It takes time. It takes energy. It takes effort. It takes finances. Yes, you can find a solution. Just like taxes. If you don't know your tax law, hire an accountant. Hire a tax professional. You don't need to do that stress. If you want to learn it, guess what? It's going to take you time. It's going to take you energy. It's going to take time away from everything that matters to you. The same when it comes to the office stuff. Are you going to be able to sit down, teach your admin everything A to Z that you know? Remember, it took you 7 to 10 years to get licensed, 8,000 hours and schooling. Do you have 7 to 10 years to teach your spouse, to teach your office manager? We understand now. Now, if they went through schooling for it, even better, you're a unicorn. Once again, you're the one out of a million. You're awesome. You're in now a different position. And you can still understand the importance of this then, true or not. But for the ones who are in the situation where, hey, I want to bring my wife in. I want her to quit her job. I want my son, daughter to run the business. So I'm going to teach them the office side of things. That's an amazing goal to have. But we have to recognize we need to do this training. And guess what? If you have a son, if he's young, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, bring him to the job with you so we can start understanding what's the workflow like, what's the construction culture, what's your business culture looking like, so that he knows how to handle everything on the day-to-day. At the same time, for our spouses, for our office managers, it's either dedicate time. Remember, I built out my entire systems book by sitting down with my office team for 3 weeks straight, and we wrote every single thing down. I didn't take no jobs. I didn't do anything but write that out because I was already burned. I was already at rock bottom. I was already $160,000 in the hole. I couldn't lose anymore. So we took 3 weeks, refined everything, built it out, got the foundation. And of course, throughout the years, you have to constantly tweak it up. You got to fix it up. There's little things you can change, little values you had to change, especially year to year. But guess what? 6 months later, I had my whole book that basically ran my business. Then we opened up in Connecticut. We applied it to Massachusetts, and the rest is history. We started growing from there. So for you guys who are looking for your office manager, we've all been there. We understand the need. We understand that you're growing at such a fast pace that it's sometimes difficult. It's very difficult to say, don't schedule me for work. Don't schedule me for any other training. I need to focus on my office. That's why we actually want an office staff, so we don't have to do that. But you have to do that training so that your office staff has the right tools and resources. Remember, down here, they need all of this. So sorry. Remember, your office staff on the soft skills needs all of this. They need this so that they can communicate, problem solve, time manage. They need you. So the longer you push that off, the more damage you're doing, because now you're paying for somebody who doesn't do their job properly. You're pushing that off. Now you're setting them up for failure. Now they're coming in thinking that they're not doing good enough. Now you have to retain your workforce. Now you also have to retain your office staff. All these different things are now adding to the stress that you already have to do in the balancing act right here. You're already here. You're the successful contractor. You have to balance these two things, right? So the longer you push this off, the longer and harder it's going to be. So what can we do? What's the solution? Where's the light at the end of the tunnel? Well, I'm proud to announce that here at the Build Association, we created our own AI platform. And we're tweaking it up. We're getting our app ready for launch. But all in all, it's teaching you everything you need to know in the field so that your office staff has the training that they need. So this program that took me 3 to 6 months to build out for my personal team, we built it in 3 weeks, our own systems book, by dedicating time from the field into the office. And now we built that into an AI platform where you can now build out your own office team. Or if you don't want to hire anybody and you just want to get more efficient at it, it will tell you everything that you need to do. Not only that, it's not ChatGPT where you just look for an answer and it just boop, pops it out for you. It teaches you basically how much does it cost to do a ceiling fan swap. It's going to ask you, well, is there an existing ceiling fan with a ceiling fan rated box? If so, it should take no more than an hour. If there's no ceiling fan rated box, then per code, with the code reference, we need to install a ceiling fan rated box. That means it's going to be more time and material needed to complete this task, and it gives you a separate estimate item. But guess what? When you guys are in the field, you're going to have your office manager, you're going to have your wife, you're going to have your spouse, you're going to have your kids call you saying, hey, Dad, I need to do a ceiling fan. How much do I charge? Well, it depends. That's why I'm calling you. How much is it? Well, I need to check it out because if it's a new box, if it's an old box, blah, 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 that attitude, all that time back and forth. Now your office staff has all the answers at her fingertips. Ask the question. Now, for training purposes, she can, or he, or your kids can call you and say, I just want to verify that, hey, this is what I'm going to tell the customer. It depends if you have this. It depends if you have that. If it's this, it's one price. If it's that, it's this price. So your estimate's going to be between these two figures. Is that right, Pa? Yeah, I'm proud of you. Thank you. Boop, hang on, hang up. And now you have a system in place for when someone calls for that one item. So literally what took us 3 to 6 months is all built out for our entire Build Association members. And if you guys are part of Build, go over to the community board. I'm going to repin it today so that you guys can check it out, test it out. I want to hear from you guys. We're developing our app. It's nothing out there. We have companies like Jobber, we have companies like Service Titan who do all these types of programmings for invoicing. But you still need to understand how long something takes. You still need to understand how much something is going to cost you, or that they tell you an estimate of this is the going rate that people are charging. None of these platforms are teaching you or giving you the tools to understand. Remember, our Blueprint series, we want to give you the tools, the resources that you need to understand your task so that you can train your team. Because we're building builders and we're building leaders here at Energize Us. And we want you guys to have the right tools and the resources, just like what we talked about in our masterclass for April, which is also live right now with the full video for our Build Association members. But thank you, everybody. I hope this makes sense to you. I hope you were able to fully understand the balancing that you guys as contractors have to do. You guys have a very important job. It's not just swapping out a light bulb. It's not just switching out a switch. It's not just fixing a toilet. It's not just switching out filters or a thermostat. You guys are providing a service for tons of people and you're super valuable. And we want to be here and build and energize us to give you more tools and resources to complement the work that you guys are already doing. Because I know myself, I'm not going to be able to be on every project. I'm not going to be able to be at every job site. I can't travel the world and be at all the places at once. But I want to be a part of every project you do moving forward with the tools and the resources that we are able to give to you, because we learned the hard way and we know a lot of you guys are going through it and a lot of you guys don't want to talk about it, and we just understand it's very difficult out there. But as long as you have a team, a network, an association of everyone working together, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And here at Build, we're going to be that light for you. And we want to keep growing with you guys. So if there's anything that we can do to get better, anything that we can do to tweak up, support you guys in your mission, remember, we want to end everything with, I hope we can be of service to you guys. And whatever you guys need, feel free to reach out. But now I'm going to flip the camera around to answer some Q&As that you guys might have about our AI platform. Or if you guys want to talk about joining the Build Association, feel free to send me a DM privately. We can send you more information. I'm also put the link at the end of this live, just so if you guys want to head over there, it's there all for you, ready to go to test out. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys. I'm now going to just